No morjesta pöytään! Hei, tässä jaksossa lähdetään pitkästä aikaa taas tien päälle ja tällä kertaa kohteena on Helsinki ja vielä tarkemmin ottaen Head Hunter Store. Joten tsekataan hei vähän, miten meille oikein kävi tuolla Helsingin päässä. Hei, kippo lipuu jälleen kerran kohti uusia seikkailuita ja tällä kertaa me ollaan Helsingissä saakka. Lähdettiin nimittäin vähän pällistelemään, että mitä kaikkea muikeeta voisi löytyä tuolta Head Hunter Storen uumenista. Okei, hei, hyvät ihmiset, nyt me ollaan täällä sisällä Head Hunter Store nimisessä kaupassa Helsingissä. And hey, we're gonna do this episode in English because we have some English speaking visitors, or actually we are the visitors, but our guest today.
Absolutely. Welcome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name's Dean Clayton. I'm from the UK, as you were correctly pointing out. I came to Finland 20 years ago. I used to work for Games Workshop. That's why I'm really here with the miniature toy soldiers.
Ah, Gamers Workshop.
Yes, it's in Helsinki. They have the Warhammer game and that kind of stuff. So this is where the painting part of my company and the model making comes from.
Yeah.
I was with them in Denmark for 2.5 years, Sweden for 1.5 years, and 8 years here.
Okay.
I'm qualified as a graphic designer and an illustrator.
Yeah.
So that's why we do comic book covers and that kind of stuff. And while I was working at Games Workshop, one of my staff members actually said, hey, you should be doing this for yourself. You could make way more money, and you love action figures and collectibles way more than small toy soldiers.
Yeah.
So I thought about it for 7 years. And finally, I took the jump. And I never, ever will look back.
Yeah, I can understand that. Actually, when you look at this place, this is like a paradise for a collector. Like me,
Yeah.
I really love this kind of stuff. And when I enter this awesome little, can I say it's a shop? I don't know. When you talk about shop, it sounds like more like, some K-market.
Kiosk or something.
But this is something different. This is like a dream place for a collector or someone. It's like a living room kind of. Actually, this feeling what you get when you enter here, it's like really awesome. And
Thank you.
I really love this stuff.
Yeah, you were about to say living room, right? Yeah, it's kind of what people tend to say. I actually can't take all the credit for it. There's a bunch of my friends, Ben Varon, my partner Anna, and Eduardo, who works here at the store.
Yeah.
Particularly Eduardo. When the pandemic came and we reopened this store, this is our new location.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, rather than make it just a storage, why don't we make it more of a store? And actually he has a museum background. So he said, can we push it a bit further and make it a toy museum and a storage and forget the store part? And that's what you're feeling. Because actually it's not, we call it a store because then everyone gets what they're expecting.
Definitely. Yeah.
But when they come, I think it is pretty different. It's more of, people often come here just to look at vintage toys and just to photograph them, and that's fine. But it operates as our storage where we met at the shows.
Yeah.
So actually this place's primary function is for us to be able to go out and do those shows.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, we just got ourselves established at the show circuit, which means all of the Comic-Cons and that kind of comic book show all around Scandinavia. We built ourselves up to about 35 of those in a year.
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit, in 2 weeks, everything was cancelled. Yeah. And that was before we had this place.
Yeah.
So I had no opportunity to have a store, and all of my shows, I just bought a brand new van to go and do them, a bigger one, so we could do more.
Yeah.
And I invested in lots of product because I thought, hey, it's going to be a really busy year.
Yeah.
Well, the pandemic came, we lost all of our shows. So I'm at home with all of my products. My products are all, of course, in our storage, our old storage, with a brand new van and nowhere to go.
Yeah, because this is so awesome stuff, and I figured that you actually go to places a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We were up to about 35 shows in a year.
Yeah.
Then Ben Veron, one of my best friends, his father works upstairs.
Yeah.
And this is the basement for his photo studio.
Okay.
And he came, actually I was doing some modeling, if you can believe it, for one of his projects.
Yeah.
And then he said, hey, my basement is free and we need to rent it to somebody. Let me show it to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay. So I came down, and of course it's a massive area. You've only seen half of it. If you've seen the store, it's half.
Yeah.
The rest we use for storage, and there's a room that's my personal private collection. Maybe I'll let you take some photos.
Oh, that would be awesome. Wouldn't it?
And I came downstairs here, and I said to him, hey, thank you for showing it to me, but if you're thinking of asking me to rent it, I can't afford this much space because it's the same square meter price as my old storage. And he said, well, how much do you pay? He knew that I had lost all those shows. Yeah. So he said, how much do you pay for your old place? And I told him, and he said, okay, that's the price for this place. Unbelievable. He saved us. He saved my company because we were able then to open this as a store and not a storage. The pandemic meant the shows went away. I put my van into storage, funnily enough. Yeah. We took everything out of my van, everything out of all the other storage places, brought it all here, and it's taken us since November to make it look. We're not done here, but it's getting there. Yeah. Getting there. And how you see it today has taken since November last year, and the store has been a big success. Yeah. We opened up an eBay store at the same time and an Etsy store. And actually, without going to any shows, 2020 and 2021 were the best 2 years in my company's history, and we didn't go to any events. So that's thanks to the Finnish public, all my friends, and everyone on the internet that supported us. And I really mean that. It's been huge. All the Facebook followers we have, everyone has just been fantastic.
Yeah, I can understand that because I've come to notice for years that I've been a collector. My main priority is movies, but I also do this. I collect these figures and comic books and stuff like that. Yeah. I've noticed that people who are like these collectors, they actually are in one big family kind of way. Yeah. Even though you don't know someone, and if you meet them in some Comic Con or whatever kind of situation, it's like always so easy to talk to these people, and especially like you told about this epidemic era, like people started to come and buy, and you got followers and stuff like this. It's like one of our own needs help. Let's help.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Because most of the people that bought from us on the internet never even got to come and enjoy or even see the store, even if they knew that we had it. And we tried to tell everyone. On eBay, we try to tell this place exists. And of course, if you come here, we tell everyone that we're on eBay. Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the two meet. And of course, someone that's buying from us in Washington can't come just here. Yeah. But of course, everyone in Finland has eventually made their way here. I believe that now buyers from us has made their way here, or they are in the process of making their way here. Yeah. And even the gentleman that came today, who I bought this collection from earlier, he's from the UK. He's been here nearly 20 years too. Yeah. And he could not believe that he didn't know that this exists. And he is a hardcore collector. He was like, what? Where did this place come from? And I said, Head Hunter Storen has existed for 10 years on paper. Yeah. So it's, Actually, well, I have a confession to make. I didn't know that this place existed until I found from internet that I was actually checking like, where's this trap jaw? I really need that Masters of the Universe origin figure. And I saw that you had it on your webpage. And I bought my last one. Yeah. Because it was crazy. You made that order, and the next day for the same show, another person ordered the same figurine. Yeah. And I was like, is this just like a double order? And I checked the name and I checked the phone number and everything. It was completely different. I checked the credit card number and it was different. Yeah. So you were one order away from not getting that. So I'm glad, because this came of it. So yeah, definitely, because it happened. You've seen the video before. It was this Tampere Kupli event in Tampere-talo. We have a video of it, so that's where I picked that dude up, and I saw a little bit what you have in store, like physically what you had there displayed. Like a little bit, and then I was just checking, and I was like, damn. Dude, you have some awesome stuff here. Hopefully you noticed that the setup at the show is literally one of the aisles from the store. It's not one of the aisles from the store, but it's a copy of one of the aisles from the store.
Yeah.
So our philosophy is it's actually turned the whole thing on its head, your question about the pandemic.
Yeah.
So what we do now when we go to the shows, we actually take a chunk of the store out on the road. And when people say, hey, you have a lot of stuff, we say, well, this is one aisle. It's not actually from our store. It's one that fits in the van. We build it and we take it down in 3 days. But it gives you an idea of what would be at the store if you came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you said you're a graphic designer. So there's a lot of these little figures what need painting. You do those a lot?
Absolutely. This is our own what I call bust line.
Yeah.
So we sculpt these. I do some myself, and I have a sculptor in Sweden. Her name's Anna.
Yeah.
So we make all these sculptures. We have them reproduced. I have a couple of mold makers here in Finland, and then when one gets ordered, I don't paint them all ahead of time because very often people want a certain color or a certain version of these characters.
Yeah.
If they don't have a certain wish, then we'll give them one that's ready done.
Yeah.
And so these are very popular. We've done these. We make a little bit of money with them, but they're not super profitable. But these are about telling people what we could do.
Okay.
And we have done lots of like model making jobs for companies and advertising agencies based on just having these. We've done work for bands.
Oh, yeah.
And we've made proposals to bands. I mean, they've asked us, could we do, so Lordi, for example, we've been working on a project to do a line of busts with them.
Yeah.
Keyboard player is a friend of mine, but that doesn't matter. It was actually completely different. She had no idea. So these have taken us places. So, and if anyone asks, can you do such and such, we usually just show them these and they're like, okay, you can do it. Or I can get it done. We have 3D printing that we have access to. These helmets here, this guy is 3D printed. And then we use just regular vinyl model kits that we kind of chop up and build things. We also customize action figures. So if someone buys an action figure and typically they don't like the paint job, we just completely repaint it for them. We do a lot of those.
So you can do almost anything.
Yeah,
with these kind of figures and stuff.
Yeah, so like this area here in the front is kind of like our cash desk where Eduardo and we weigh our eBay packages. But the rest of this room, the reason it's in such a mess is where it's because I build and repair and paint custom things for people. So it's constantly turning over. I build full costumes or just customized Lego figures or whatever people need.
Okay. What is your basic week? Like, do you do these things or do you just sell stuff or painting, whatever?
Usual week.
What is it? Yeah. What do you do?
My usual, almost every day. Probably it shouldn't be, but even including the weekends, usually with coffee in the morning for an hour, I'll look at my emails. I work here at the store, packing eBay orders and of course serving customers. Yeah. Sometimes doing interviews. I do that every Wednesday from 12 till 6. I'm actually only here at the store 1 day a week. And then some weekends, it's looking like this year, for example, I'll be away 10 weekends this year, and I go to Sweden or Norway or wherever for a show, and that's it. I do maybe 1 day twice a month where I look on the internet. I have a list of things that people have asked me to find, or things that we've sold out of, and I'm trying to find more stock. Yeah. Whatever that might be. So I have a list at home of things I'm always trying to find. So twice a month, I'll go through the internet, turn the whole internet upside down, email everybody, and try and find the things. I mean, one common question people ask here is, where do you get all this stuff? Yeah. I put 2 days a month for 10 years, 2 days a month into looking for it all. That's where it comes from. It's a lot of work. So, but it's
a lot of work, but something you really love.
I love it, and it's actually now it's great because now it's established. It's not a full-time job. Yeah. It's what I do full-time. It's my only job. I might do illustration things or some model making projects. The model making is always done here. It's never at my home. I mean, I pay for this space, so I make all the mess here. Yeah. And the customers love seeing me when they come in and I'm working on something. They love it. Yeah. Well, it actually advertises the fact that we can repaint their action figures, for example. Yeah. They would just show up again with all of their figures and like, hey, repaint this lot, they're ugly. and we, you know, for 20 or 30 euros, we'll do every single figure they have.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, what is your favorite figure? Do you have something like, what is your main thing? For me, actually, at the moment, it's these Masters of the Universe figures.
My action figure collecting is rooted in vintage 70s and 80s vintage Star Wars. So you'll see when I show you my collection room, I have everything in the original packages. From 79 to 85. I have everything, all on card, original sealed from many countries. I think about 800 examples of vintage figures. They're in the next room. I have a large Star Wars. The other thing I collect is premium format Star Wars figurines, the quarter scale statues. And if they come to me broken, of course I can repair them, so I can buy them a bit cheaper. But most of them are in mint condition and they're brand new. I don't know, I have about 40 of those, 50 of those. I think there's about 100 out there. So I'm about halfway through. And I collect the Gentle Giant busts, which are like the Lando that's up there. So I collect those. I've got a couple of hundred, but I have about 100 left that I'm still trying to find. Modern statues, modern busts, but vintage Star Wars toys. And then the other toy lines I collect, or properties I collect for, are Alien. So I have a lot of Alien costume items, props, helmets, statues, life-size pieces.
Life-size pieces?
Yeah, I have a couple of life-size guns and the NECA foam heads, signed by some of the actors from the movie. This is actually an Alien statue that we produced, the Alien Queen. So I've got one of these, one of these signed by some of the cast as well in my own collection. I showed it to them and they loved it, so they signed one for me.
Alien is actually my favorite monster from the movies. It's like super awesome.
Yeah, this Alien Queen is, I think, it's just about my favorite monster from all. I have a big statue of this at my home. It's quarter scale, so it's huge. My kid hates it, but really, he cries when he sees it. Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's massive. It's scary.
And then Evil Dead, which is probably the smallest collection that I own. I have almost everything that you could buy from the Evil Dead franchise. And I've got one Jaws action figure. And that's it. That's,
One? Is it?
Yeah, it's incredibly rare. It's the McFarlane box with the boat going into the water and the crew. It's boxed, it's never been opened, and it's absolutely mint, so I decided to keep it rather than sell it. And I love Jaws. Of course, I love Jaws, everyone does, but that I just had to hang on to. Every now and again, something will come along my way, and it's so nice, I'm like, I can't just let that go out of my hands. I took it out of the package and I was like, oh my God.
I can really understand that. It's really difficult sometimes to let something go. And especially in your case, when you're selling this stuff, and like, if I would be you, it would be really difficult to me, like, when some cool stuff comes in, I would like struggle not to keep it to myself.
Well, what you have to remember is, on paper, until it's sold, it's all mine. So I have the biggest toy collection in Finland by far. If I close the door, I mean, I mean, we don't have my company isn't any kind of debt too, so everything's all paid for. So I've paid for it all myself. So until it's sold, like I already bought it. No. I've paid for everything up front. So actually, until any of this is sold, it's all mine. There's no debt whatsoever.
Like, damn, there's like huge amount. And this vintage Masters of the Universe figures, you have a lots of stuff, and like damn.
Yeah, Masters is I know you're particularly interested, so I can talk to you about some of that. Masters is a thing that my brother was into when I was a kid, so I was aware of it. But when I started my business, actually, I really didn't focus on it. We've always had some, and I mean 5 figures or something. But when the Origins line started to emerge, then I started to try to get more of the vintage stuff because I knew what was going to happen. And I love the Origins line. I think it's awesome. It's been great for us. And really good for business.
Yeah, definitely. When I was young, I used to play with these original figures from the 80s, and I was really stupid at the time when I grew old, about 12 or whatever age, I was like all thrown away. And then, let's say I was 20 or something, I started to collect them back and kept them for 3-4 years, and then I again throw them away, and now I'm over 40-year-old, and now I'm just collecting everything, and I'm just thinking to myself like, okay, let's see how many years I'm gonna keep these things now until I sell them. But
hang on to them now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I really don't want to let go any of those figures or any comics. And
I think the way to think about it, and I tell this to a lot of our customers, the way to think about it is if you keep most of it in good condition, and you definitely keep the packaging or the box, actually everything that you've bought will at least hold its value. Yeah. But there's a percentage of it, I don't know if you where you are with that, but a percentage of it actually will increase in value to some degree, depending on the property, depending on the figurine. Yeah. For example, Trapjaw, we can't get anymore, and they're not making anymore. So he's now sold out. It turns out he's actually a figurine that they didn't make that many of. Yeah. So he's gonna be worth a few extra euros going down the line. The one that everyone bought loads of, thinking that it will be rare later, is the re-release of Scareglow. I have 40 of them back there. Yeah. We've sold hardly any, and I don't think anyone's going to really want it. It's actually some of the figurines that were kind of underproduced. Yeah. Triclops, Trapjaw, and Stinkor. Yeah. There aren't that many. Yeah. And Ninjor. Ninjor is also very tough to get your hands on, because I think they were only given to some stores as exclusives in the US, certain stores, and I think I got 4 Ninjors through my suppliers in Germany, and that's all we could get. Yeah. It's really weird that I've been searching for that from internet for a while now, and okay, I can buy it from eBay, but okay, let's say it's like 100 euros or something. It's really expensive. Well, you can get a vintage one for 100. Yeah, so and actually a vintage one is really cool. Yeah. I mean, we have one right there. I think they already kind of turned the tap off on the Origins line, so I mean, everything has to come to an end when it's toy manufacturing and these bigger companies. Sure. And I'm not quite sure on all the detail, but I think that, as I understood it, Mattel's not losing the license, but they're losing the right to make toys based on that property. They sold it away many years ago, so I think next year, 22. Yeah, is it next year? 23? I think it's 23. Not next year. It's in 23. Mattel don't have the rights to make toys based on their own property anymore. That's sad in a way, but actually, like, now it's the perfect time to collect whatever you need. While you still can. Yeah, they seem to have made a lot of them last year and the beginning of this year, but now there's just going to be this gap while we see who picks up the license for the kind of classic filmation look on He-Man. Yeah, and actually after that comes probably the movie. Yeah. The Netflix probably is doing it whatever. I don't know, was it Netflix, I think. Yeah. And there is a Netflix line, there's the Revelations. Yeah, Revelation, line. So that's set to continue beyond their cartoon series, and actually the figurines are already looking really good. The new figurines that weren't in the cartoon series, I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, me kind too. Of this classics look to them. Yeah, and I liked it that it didn't focus on He-Man that much. It was based on mostly the Masters of the Universe, the whole universe. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. It was cool. And well, it's He-Man and the Masters, so I think it's a mistake just to focus on He-Man. I mean, he's just one little piece of that whole universe. It's huge. Yeah. Ja hei hyvät katsojat, tämän videon lopussa meillä on kilpailu teille ja palkintona on 2 kappaletta 50 € arvoisia lahjakortteja Head Hunter Storen, joten katsokaa videon lopusta ohjeet, miten voitte osallistua kyseiseen kilpailuun. 2 onnekasta siis voittaa 50 € arvoisen lahjakortin Head Hunter Storen. So this place is not open to the public right yet. It's only for very special guests. But in about a year, it'll be ready and open to the public, and you'll be able to pay to come and see what's in this room. Awesome. You'll see in a minute why we're going to charge for it. Okay, so you have to be really careful. This isn't going to be like this. This is just tons of boxes. Woo! Let me get this guy over here. Okay, so Everyone always asks me, if they haven't been to my house, they always ask me, Dean, so what do you do with all that money that you're making?
And here's the answer.
Yeah. So this is, without shadow of a doubt, Finland's biggest private Star Wars toy collection, for sure. So everything in the vitrines here are all original sealed figurines, all in their original packages. All the vehicles up the top are all complete and mint conditioned.
Damn, this is nice.
Yep. Yeah, I mean this room, when we moved here in November, I put this collection in here, and when I have spare time, this is what I get to do. But I've now got a son, and I just bought a house, and I have my company, so it keeps me busy. So when I get free time, just for me, I sit and assemble some of this stuff and put it on display.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things in here.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader.
Yeah, premium format Star Wars statues.
These are so nice.
This room used to be a gym, I believe.
Ah.
And then all this very ending bit down here, there's more statues to see and more things, but the vitrines, they're not even fully built, and most of these are more or less half empty. There will be all the vintage toys from the 70s loose on display also in this room eventually, and in the middle there will be 10 life-size characters in full costume. Yeah, and people will be able to come in here and just take a kind of a lap around.
How many busts do you have?
There's a couple of hundred in here, but there's about 100 that I still need. I've got more, I still need to unpack some.
Yeah.
This is just the ones that we managed to unpack so far.
These are so cool.
Yep. I mean, value-wise, I don't know if you care, but the things in this room, you could easily buy a couple of houses with all the things that's in this room.
Yeah, I bet.
No question. No, absolutely.
If you have to pick just one, what is your favorite of everything what you have in this room?
Oh my God. Probably one of the newest things, the half-scale Fett over at the front. This guy here.
This one.
I think that's my current favorite.
That's like really huge.
Yeah. I could show you the most expensive item in this room, except that it's in that first vitrine behind all that plastic. There's one carded Darth Vader there, and its value is about 10,000 euros. Yeah, there's very few on the planet in that particular package. It's the same as all the other Vader figurines. There have to be 1 million of those on the planet, the actual figurine, but the package, it's less than 10.
And you have something from the new movies also.
Yeah, actually that's one that I built. It's a 3D print, I made that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Cool. So, how many hours?
That takes about 8 weeks to print, and I think that took about 3 months to put together and paint.
So well made, because it actually looks like it's been in the desert or something. It's really good.
Thank you.
Super awesome job.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this guy is an official piece, but it needs restoration. It needs a new base, new paint job. It was on somebody's balcony when I bought it, so it's been literally out in the rain for months.
Where do you find this? From internet all over?
Yeah, somebody took contact and said, "Hey, it's been on my balcony."
Yeah.
They wanted to sell it. Of course, they didn't get what it's worth because it's incredibly badly damaged. But once I've restored it, you wouldn't know it's ever needed any work. This Stormtrooper armor up here, I know it's terrible in here. There's not much space, but this Stormtrooper armor up here, you can take a shot, maybe go a bit closer. It's actually made by Stuart Freeborn, who made the armor for the A New Hope.
Yeah.
So it's made by the guy. It's not by his company. That one's actually by him.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. What about that? What was this guy's name? This
Jabba?
Princess? Yeah,
That's Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, that's the 1/10 scale sideshow statue. I also have the 1/6 scale Gentle Giant statue right behind you up there. Pretty fond of Jabba the Hutt, so I tend to buy them all. I've got a couple more somewhere. And you can see in there's a life-size Fett, and there's a TIE Pilot, and I have a couple of Vaders life size and I think 4 Stormtroopers.
Damn.
I've been a busy bee, and this is what happens when you don't have time to do anything. So in here is another one of those. It's half of a life-size Stormtrooper. It's literally one of those, but it's a solid stature, so it's just a huge piece of resin that looks like Stormtrooper armor. This is a kit that I've bought myself. It's a Rebel Fleet Trooper from A New Hope. It's got it from the States, I don't know, 6 months ago. This is the Mandalorians Backpack that somebody kindly 3D printed for me. I just have to paint it, and Chewbacca's bowcaster that I've been working on for 5 or 6 years now. This is real metal. One of my friends made this to go on this. This is actually the crossbow they used for the movie prop. So I've got all the other parts, guitar knobs and parts of a telephone and everything that goes to make a real Chewbacca's bowcaster. So that goes on there. Just need to find the time. These busts, they just now arrive, and they go on this pile. But I promise, the next time you guys, there's another one here, there's more. The next time you guys come here, this will all be out of its boxes and on the shelves, and the cabinets will all have their doors, and there'll be some music playing and some nice lights, and yeah.
But hey,
just enjoy.
Definitely, that sounds really cool. I find something here similar to what we have at our place, and it's Pinhead.
That's the Sideshow 1/4 scale.
Yeah, and
the
there's a little bit bigger one.
Yeah, that's Elusive Concepts 1:1 scale bust. It's signed by the guy that sculpted it. I met him in Sweden at a show, so on the bottom he signed it for me. Bjorn, he's actually a good friend. There's a helicopter pilot's helmet from Alien. You see the kind of, you see it with a visor? I found that on Hortonet. Can you believe that?
Hortonet, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's a Vietnam era helicopter pilot helmet. Some guy on Hortonet was selling it. I just woke up one morning and was browsing Hortonet, as I often do for work, and that was there. And it's real. It's a real one. And in the movies, they didn't do anything to it. They used a real one, so it's as close as you need. I think it was a couple €100.
And C-3PO.
Yeah, half scale. If you like Star Wars, this is the room, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Hey, so I just wanted you to know you're all super welcome over to the store. We're open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. We'd love to see you here. And if you ask really nicely, we might let you see the private collection. And please remember, enter the contest, sponsored by Head Hunter Store. Thank you so much.
Hei, reissu on tehty ja aivan mieletön paikka Head Hunter Store, voi ihan käsittämätöntä kamaa. Ja tosiaan yksi asia mullekin tarttu sieltä mukaan, mitä itse asiassa tuossa aikaisemmalla pätkällä, mitä näitte, niin ei vielä esitelty, joten esittelen sen teille tässä. Eli mukaan sieltä lähti Mosquitor, koska mähän on siis suuri Masters of the Universe Origins fani, niin pakkohan tää oli oikeasti ottaa sieltä matkaan. Avasin kyllä paketista, koska tää on pakko saada tonne kavereiden sekaan hyllyyn, mutta paketin totta kai säilytin. Eli nyt sitten siihen itse kilpailuun, eli 3 tiukkaa, tosin aika helppoa kysymystä on osoitettu teille, hyvät katsojat, ja ne henkilöt, jotka vastaa tämän videon kommenttikentässä tuohon alle oikein näihin kaikkiin 3 kysymykseen, me arvomme 2 kappaletta 50 € arvoisia lahjakortteja Head Hunter Storeen, joten ehdottomasti kannattaa osallistua. Ja jakakaa ehdottomasti tätä videoa eteenpäin. Olisin todella kiitollinen, jos mahdollisimman moni pääsisi osallistumaan sekä pystyisi tutustumaan Head Hunter Storeen, koska kyseessä on niin mahtava mesta, jota pitää ehdottomasti mainostaa joka paikassa. Käykää ihmiset paikan päällä, tutustukaa nettisivuihin ja niin edespäin. Mutta tosiaan ne 3 kysymystä. Ensimmäinen kysymys. Missä osoitteessa sijaitsee Head Hunter Store Suomessa? Toinen kysymys. Mikä on Head Hunter Storen omistajan Dean Claytonin suosikki figuurisarja, jota hän kerää? Ja 3. kysymys. Alterstream Medialla on 4 vakiovierasta, vakiokasvua, jota nähdään useissa eri jaksoissa. Ketkä nämä 4 henkilöä ovat? Mitkä ovat heidän nimet? Ja tässä oli tosiaan nämä 3 kysymystä teille, hyvät katsojat. Vastatkaa näihin ja kommenttikenttään vastaukset. Teillä on aikaa 22.5. sunnuntaihin kello 21.00 asti vastata ja tämän jälkeen me arvomme 2 onnekasta voittajaa heistä, jotka oikein vastasivat kysymyksiin. Mutta hei! Jos ette ole tosiaan pistäneet tätä kanavaa vielä seurantaan, tehkää se ihmeessä ja jakakaa edelleen tätä videoa. Haluan jakaa ilosanomaa Head Hunter Storesta mahdollisimman monelle ja halutaan totta kai, että mahdollisimman moni pääsee osallistumaan tähän kilpailuun. Mut hei, me nähdään taas uusien jaksojen merkeissä myöhemmin. Heippa!